So, in today's podcast episode, we're going to be talking about how important it is and necessary it is to be unapologetic in your love and light, and what that exactly means. To be unapologetic in your love and light will liberate your soul, it will free you from the confines, from the restrictions, from the programming of this world. You get to finally truly know and to feel and to be yourself, and that's what it's about. If you know you're a being of love and you know you're a being of light, you know you're a being of kindness, and you're going through life and you truly want the best for all, including yourself, then why not be unapologetic about that? Why not? And you should be. And we're going to talk to you and teach you and to show you that it's okay and you are safe and you are protected. And actually, that's how you're going to anchor in the golden age.
Welcome to the Golden Age Goddess Podcast. We stand for peace, love, happiness, and abundance for all. Listen to your heart and soul's call, and we will encourage you to be bold, audacious, and devoted. Kim, Indigo, and Wind, helping you win by healing deep within. Only way to the Golden Age. Like, share, and subscribe today.
Peace, 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 divine beings, and welcome back to another episode of the Golden Age Goddess Podcast.
Woo, 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 woo. It's always a celebration over here.
Thank you all for joining us on another episode. In today's episode, we're talking about being unapologetic in your love and light. Super excited to dive into this topic and to hear you goddesses' perspective. So without further ado, let's get started.
Yes.
Woo! And I will be beginning our beautiful ceremony today. If we can all bring our candles out. If we may, I would love to lead us through a beautiful prayer today for our podcast.
My goddess can do whatever she wants from her heart.
If we can all put our hands in our heart and take a deep breath all together. 3, 2, 1. Just release and ground into this beautiful, beautiful, loving podcast and beautiful message that we have straight from the highest light of the divine. And today our prayer goes out to every single person on this earth that wants to elevate, that wants to do the work, that wants to join us in this beautiful transmission of love and light. We are so grateful to be here, to be in love, to be in gratitude, to be in joy, and to just be creating happiness and community. And we do this with our whole hearts in alignment with the 5D consciousness and the new earth that we are building day by day through our hearts. I'm just so thankful for our beautiful time and energy that goes into this beautiful transmission, and just super, super thankful and grateful for everybody that is watching this. And we hope that this enlightens you and makes you think and makes you elevate in any type of way. And we're just so grateful. And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful, beautifully said. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So my heart's desire for today's episode is that every viewer, every soul, every person in humanity's I Am Present receives this transmission as we send it out from our hearts to show up and be true and authentic and unapologetic in our love and light in every way, while being able to find balance and harmony in all of our moments, all of our thoughts, all of our emotions. That's what I desire for our viewers with this episode.
Mhm.
Thank you, Goddess.
We got it.
Yes, for me, I want to always go back to self, to be discerning with ourselves, to know, are we truly being unapologetic from love, or is it from our ego? Are we speaking our truth and our convictions and being rooted and grounded from a space of love for the highest and greatest good of all? Or is it for the egoic good of ourself, which can only end in destruction? It's an illusory good. It's not a true source of truth. It is not a true source of good. So, my desire for all of us is that we tune in always, and that we know if we are coming from love and light, then yes, stand 10 toes down in that. Be authentic, unapologetic, shine your light unapologetically, fluidly, freely, and know that you're protected, and know that everything that you desire and everything that's for the highest and greatest good of all, because we are in a new timeline, we are in the golden age, will be done. Thy will be done from the divine, the God's will, the divine's will be done through us being unapologetic in our love, in our light. And so it is.
So it is. Love
So
that.
Yes.
love it.
Right.
My intention for being unapologetic, our love, and in our light is that I know that this will spark something in your heart. And I know that this will make you think about ways that we haven't been in our love and light, or that we've been veering away from our love and light. And I hope that it gives everybody the courage to stand up and self assess yourself, and um, put a spark in your mind in regards to moving forward, how we will be more unapologetic in our love and in our light, and knowing that it's okay if we made a mistake in the past, that we always have the lesson that we learned, and we can move forward with intention of love, light, and purity. And we can always just try our best to move forward with love and light. And yes, that is my desire.
Thank you, Goddess.
Thank
That
you,
was
guys.
beautiful. I love that. Great follow up to what I said.
Perfect. So I will start our beautiful questions today, goddesses. Have you both ever felt pressured to dim your light or hide your love? And how did you get through it?
Mm. I want to hear from you, Kim, about this, because
Perfect.
you know all about. We all know about it, but I want to hear from you.
Perfect. So I was thinking about this question last night when my spiritual journey started, maybe like probably 7 years ago, when I awakened to seeing the mirrors and the illusions behind the 3D world. When I started to get deeper into my spirituality, learning about the chakras and the yoga and the meditation, when I started to get into that, since it wasn't like something that people in my community were doing, people that I grew up with that I was doing this, I noticed that I started to dim my light,
Mm.
hide my love, because it was like, I don't know if this made sense, but it was like forbidden, especially like in my religion. If you ever spoke up about, spirituality, yoga, chakras, you were doing like quote unquote devil.
Devil's work. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's when I felt that I started to dim my light in my journey. I felt like that's what caused me to dim my light. But going deeper and deeper and deeper into my spiritual journey, the divine has helped me release a lot of that. And getting through it was for me going deeper into my spirituality
Mm.
and finding the courage and the love in my heart to know that spirituality has saved my life. And
Mm.
the
Mm.
miracles that have happened in my life, because I believe in myself and I believe in the divine and the all knowing universe, that's how I was able to get through it, by going deeper into the spirituality by going to retreats. So the first retreat I went to was my beautiful sister Layla's retreat in Peru. And that was the first retreat I ever went to. And that just opened me up, doing plant medicine, ayahuasca, we sat in ceremony. That just blew my mind open. And I knew in my heart that I've never felt that type of magnitude of love before. The way Mother Ayahuasca showed me who we are, and we are love. And I knew that in my heart, like it was imprinted in my soul during that ceremony, that spirituality for me was saving my life. So after that retreat, I just dove in deeper and deeper into my spirituality, and I haven't looked back since. And I'm not saying that everybody has to do plant medicine, but for me in my journey, plant medicine helped me open up and trust more into the divine. And one thing led to another after that. Just staying spiritually devoted to myself, to my path, to love, and also using my throat chakra the best that I can in my journey to be able to speak up and know that my divine purpose in life is to spread love, to spread kindness, to spread joy. And I also know in my heart that we're in this 3D world, and that our purpose is just huge when we come from love, light, harmony, unity. And through the journey, I know and that's my purpose, to bring love, joy, and unity. So yeah, so that's how I got through it, just by going deeper into spirituality.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, love.
Thank you.
Yes, I love that, Kim. Thank you. Yeah, I'll go next. So I have felt the pressure of like hiding my light, hiding my love, just through the programming of how the system works, and how the third dimension, the density of this realm, how that manifests and play out. And it seemed to me at a point in time that it didn't really make any sense for me doing good, because I used to say like, oh, when you do good, you get the shitty end of the stick, right? And I would say this because it's like, you make all your efforts to show up, be loving, to be kind, to be considerate of others, to be considerate of yourself, to see things in a more dynamic way. And it seems as if people are, and it is very challenging or very dominant in this dimension, in this realm, where people are constantly trying to get over on somebody, or they are figuring out a way to get over you so that they can uplift themselves, and that was discouraging, and that was very disappointing for me. So I used to wish, like, because sometimes it was beyond my it's like anything I could have done to want to did something against my true nature, which is love and light, would be difficult for me. I would be challenged to, now it's like, okay, so why can't I do what everybody else is doing? It used to come across as like a burden, because I'm always the one to be positive, or to see a different outcome or different perspective than some. And it has been very rewarding in my life. I wouldn't change it for anything. I am so grateful for just being born the way that I am. Just like, from very young, just being very considerate and loving, and, always mindful of others, like my mom, my dad, things like that, But yeah, there was definitely pressure. And I used to always questioned why it was that I had the assignment to show up in my love and light, to always see positive perspective, even though the world was so dense and there was so much influences, and other people may be getting by, getting over on people, or being malicious, or having like ill intentions. It just wasn't in the cards for me growing up. And not saying that I've been a saint in any capacity, because I am still a student here, and I've learned and made mistakes, but mistakes are meant to be corrected, like you said, Kim. And it takes a lot to make a mistake and then apologize about it, or to make the correction. So that is also a part of the journey in being unapologetic in our love and
Absolutely.
light.
Right. Be unapologetic and apologizing.
Right. Period.
Yes, yes. I love that. You made a lot of great points. Both of you did. But what I really love that you talked about, Indigo, is that a lot of times when we are in our love and our light, and we're in our purity, a lot of times it feels like we get the short end of the stick. And so a lot of times that's why people kind of feel, and I mean, I haven't necessarily felt like this. I always felt called to stay in my love and my light, but at the same time, I didn't feel supported and I didn't feel safe to be in my love and my light, because so many people through my journey, this goes back to childhood. Whenever I was showing up in my excellence, and whenever I was showing up in my greatness, I would always deal with jealousy. I would always deal with envy. I would always deal with people trying to take me down a notch, right? When I was just being myself. And at that time, I was very, very scared because, again, it feels like persecution. It feels like literally like I'm going to be punished for being an amazing person, and also people taking advantage of you because of that as well.
Great point.
Yes, people have taken advantage of me a lot throughout my life, and that is a way we betray ourselves. But the thing about being unapologetic in our love and our light is that when you do grow spiritually, as Kim said, you do become more discerning. So that way, you don't allow people to take advantage of you because you are in your love and your light, because you're now able to discern who's really there for you and who's there to benefit off of your love and your light, right? But that takes time, that takes evolvement. And I will say that a lot of times people dim their love and their light simply because of people pleasing, and because you stand out and you have a certain frequency and you have a certain light and you have a certain just beingness about yourself that really shakes the room, metaphorically, right? It's ground shaking and people can see it. They may not always be able to put a label on it. And you know what my mom always told me? Sometimes people are not necessarily jealous of your looks, they're jealous of your energy.
Yep.
They're jealous of who you are, how you show up. It's that what's coming to me is that Cleo Soul song. They're just jealous of your mind. They're just jealous because you're kind. You
Yes.
know, yes, that, it's a real thing out here in the world. And that's why people are triggered so much by love and light, because, like you said, Indigo, the programming of this world so third dimensional. People are used to the duality. People are used to being fake. People are used to being, again, separate racism, classism, sexism, all the isms, right? We're used to all of the duality. And then when somebody comes and they're not operating from that frequency, it's like, who do you think you are? Let's take you down a notch
Yep.
because you're not like us. And so for a lot of us pure light beings, we can dim ourselves if we're not careful and we haven't done a lot of that shadow work, right? Or we are maybe at the beginning stage of our spirituality. So there's a lot to it, but I will say that the biggest reasons I dim my light, and that I feel like other beautiful, pure souls have dimmed their light, is simply because you're the odd one out. You want to fit in, and you're not going to fit in. You're not meant to fit in. You're meant to stand out. You're meant to be a leader. And that's being unapologetic. And once you recognize that, then you going, like I said, stand 10 toes down. You're not going to give a dang about trying to fit into nothing because you're a pure soul. You're here to be the new leaders of the new earth. Yeah.
Yes. I love
Yes.
that.
Love you both.
That just lit something in me. Like when you said that, when like people, you walk in the room and like, you know, you just light the room up. And like I've been told that many times, like, oh my gosh, Kim, when you come in the room, it's like, and sometimes I felt bad, like, what am I doing wrong? Like, because a lot of people sometimes will, like sometimes it's like frowned upon when you are coming with your love and you're coming with your light. And I just have like some visions like in the past where like I would just show up and just, for example, like go to like a dance class, and I love to dance and be loud and just have fun. And then people are just dogging you. And I'm like, what? I just want to have fun and dance. What the heck?
Because you're standing out. It's like once you stand out, I've dealt with that my whole life in school, academically, graduating high school at 16 years old, taking college classes at 14. And even too, like I remember one time there was a dance at the school, and something took over me. I was so shy and scared, but that day I just went loose and I went crazy, and I showed all my moves and I showed all my skills, and I was just having fun. And I remember this one dance group, they came back to school the next day. It was like, Layla can dance. It was like she's like on a next level. And then I remember there were some girls like, okay, like they were like, kind of like they didn't want to hear that. It's like, who does she think she is type of thing. She needs to be quiet, stay in her place. But I remember little things like that would make me feel like, or even if I'm showing up academically excellent, then it's like, who does she think? But that it's like, I'm just being me.
Yeah.
I'm just being me. I'm not trying to hurt nobody, not trying to compete. I'm just being me. I can't help it that I'm great. Okay.
So if you're in high school, dance your butt off.
Yes.
Go out and dance and be happy and loud. The world needs it, especially now. The world needs it.
Yes. Right, Goddess. Not to prove anything. It's just who you are. We're meant to be this. And we're all going to be great at different things, So it's just like, find your light, what lights you up. And at the end of the day, what's most important? Being a loving being connected to the divine. What else is more important? And the infinite expressions of how that shows up. So
yes. Beautifully said, goddesses. Thank you so much. I literally, the stories can go on and on and on and on, like times in my life where I have dimmed my light, and I'm sure many, many, many stories for you both as well. But like, why do you think so many people struggle with being unapologetically themselves?
Yeah, I mean, I guess because I was long-winded, I kind of already touched on it a little bit, kind of jumping the gun, and so to speak. But just to elaborate more, why people, again, people pleasing is huge. Trying to fit in, not feeling safe. Like you said, Indigo, brilliantly said, is that you just feel like you're not. You feel like you're in a way. It's like, why am I going through a hard time, but I'm being a loving person? Or like you said, Kim, at the same time, it's like I'm showing up in my love and light, but then I'm being called, devilish or negative. And it's like, isn't it so interesting, that program, if you think about it? Because it's like, and I know you, Kim, firsthand, you show up for your family so much more than any of them show up for everybody, right? You are the one in your family that shows up so much for everybody. And yet they have the nerve to call you devilish or think that what you're doing is of the devil. But yet you are the one that's actually showing and proving through your actions and energy that you are of love and light, always there for them. Isn't that interesting? But it's like we're dealing with major cognitive dissonance. We're dealing with major psychosis in the human collective, in the human mind, in the human psyche. What we think is normal is abnormal. Like, we are literally an abnormal society, unfortunately. And I really feel like, again, the people pleasing, we're trying, it's interesting. We're trying to please people that are miserable, who don't even know how to please themselves.
Yep.
That's why I was laughing with Kim, like, please these miserable people. Like, it's a joke to me. It's an absolute joke. I'm not pleasing anybody who is miserable. And mind you, I'm a recovering people pleaser. Because there was still a thin line, even though I'm naturally very love and light and in my excellence and pure, because of that fear, there became a point where I was going over and beyond to prove myself. Because it's like, okay, if I'm not safe to just be myself, now I have to prove myself. That became the programming. And at the end of the day, it's never good enough, right? It's never good enough. So just please your soul, please the divine, and being unapologetic, like I said earlier, is being discerning and also standing your truth and not allowing anything to dim your light, and now not allowing anybody or anyone to disrespect you, not even allowing yourself to disrespect you, because it all goes back to self. A lot of times if we're feeling betrayed, it's because we betrayed ourselves. A lot of times we're not dealing with loyalty, it's because we weren't loyal to ourselves. So everything comes back to self. But yeah, people are not, the reason why people don't show up in their love and light is because of people pleasing, not feeling safe, and feeling like, I could be punished or ostracized from society. So there's a lot of reasons, but those are the main reasons that come up for me.
I love that. What was coming up for me when you said that was like, for me, it's like people don't really know who they are. Don't know who they are. Like that deep programming in the homes and religion and schools. It's like everything's been laid out from like since the moment we've been 7 and above with that deep programming. And it's like it takes real courage to learn and remember who you really are. And I feel like that's why the collective is in that reoccurring program, because it takes unlimited amount of courage to know who you are. I mean, I'm still figuring out who I am, and I feel like I've, been devoted in my journey, and I continue to unfold who I am. But it's just taking a moment to like sit with yourself and like focus on your heart and like say like, is this the life that I really want? What are these patterns that I'm following that keep me away from love? Like what keeps me separate from God and the divine? And you sit with yourself and something is keeping you separate from that relationship with the divine, then it's, for me, it's not love. Anything that keeps you away from love, get it away from you.
And I just want to say really quick, anything that keeps you away from yourself, like where you can't be yourself.
Yes, you can't be yourself. Yes.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You can't be yourself. If you can't be yourself, then you're never going to know who you are.
Yeah.
So it's like take the step to know who you really are, and reach out to people that are in their love and light, that feel good in your heart, that like, wow, look at that. For me, it's like growing up, I used to look up to like Tony Robbins, and I used to like look at YouTube videos. I remember like 12 and 13, like how do people that like don't have degrees and this and that, how do they like create these successful businesses? And I just remember going on YouTube. I was like 12 and 13, and I would just look at those type of things growing up, and I just kept my mind focused on like people having a plan, people having something that you look up to, but also figuring that out within yourself in your journey. Like taking what resonates and like leaving what does not resonate with you, I would say would really, really help in the journey to help you discover who you are. So that's what helped me growing up, like somebody that motivates you or inspires you, and then always going within to figure that out, because it's all within. The more I learn about spirituality, and the more I go deep within, I uncover something new.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, Kim, about like that's what it is. People don't know themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if they knew themselves, we would all be shining our beautiful, brilliant, bright light. So
Yeah. Yes.
I love that. Yeah, both of you have said so much from, like you said, not being, you said it when, not being discerning and trying to people please. And like you said, Kim, basically just like not trusting ourselves, not going within and knowing ourselves. And like we said earlier, you must, I think that's like one of the first things is to know thyself. And when we decide that we want to get to know ourselves and we want to explore that and go deeper within ourselves to actually see who we are, right? And get to know who we are and more of a better understanding and pushing aside all that we had been programmed to believe that we were and actually come to the truth of our being, knowing that we are love, we are pure source energy, literally like a starlit or a dust of light that has fragmented over and over and over and over again. We are a part of the greater allness, oneness. And when we are not feeling comfortable showing up unapologetically or not even knowing who it is that we are, we try to like fit into standards and boxes that had been placed or set forth. And it's like, okay, does this one fit? Okay, no, that one doesn't really fit me. Let me try another one. And then let me try another one. And let me try another one. But not really trying to create our own lane, create our own box, create our own world, or go within our own world. We already have it, and go in and explore it for ourselves. And, so many people struggle with it, especially in this day and age where influencers, social media trends, how do you, and like we say, program and how should you do something? How should you show up? How should you speak? How should you dress? If you want to be feminine, you got to do this. If you want to, it's like so many different perspectives out there. Someone may not know where they fit into that. So it's impossible to show up unapologetically. It's impossible to show up in your truth when you don't even have any grounding or truth for yourself.
Right. Yes. Well, it was coming to me as I said, when you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. Right.
Love that.
It's like standing in your, like, you don't even know your truth. It's so true.
Yeah.
Something that was coming up when you said that was like being curious. Like, it's okay to be curious and go out and explore, what feels good to your heart. Like that curiosity and building up that momentum to know who you are too. I know curiosity, and now in my journey with discernment has helped me, elevate and to higher levels of spirituality. So I just wanted to say that curiosity, like it's okay to be curious and, try to figure something out for yourself. So
yeah. Higher levels of consciousness. Yeah, for sure. Did you have anything else to say about that? Oh, go ahead, Indigo.
Little shameless plug.
Yes.
We talked in depth about discernment in a previous video, so please go ahead and check it out. We highly recommend it to strengthen your intuition, your discernment, and be able to really truly show up unapologetically in your truth, in your love, in your light, and knowing who you are. And those are, all the podcasts up to this point are like building upon each other. So I recommend, if you haven't seen any of our previous podcasts, go and check it out, please.
Yes, because this is a great way to learn to be unapologetic, learn to be your true self, learn to be happy, learn to be peaceful. That's what this is all about, you know? So what better way to spend your time? Thank you for that reference, Indigo.
Absolutely.
So So, we talked about, the reasons why people don't show up unapologetically. And I feel like one of the main reasons is because of people pleasing, right? Again, wanting to fit into the status quo, wanting to fit in and be molded into what's coming to me. Again, the group thinking mind, right? What the majority and the masses think. Because a lot of times when we are truly unapologetic in our love and our light, it's going to be authentic. It's not going to be what everybody else, is wanting or accepting or everybody else is doing. So with that being said, how can we show up in our convictions and in our truth while still being considerate of others? Because I do feel like there is a degree of just naturally, as just pure loving beautiful human souls, we naturally want to please other human beings, but we should not be doing it at the expense of our soul, right? We should not be doing it at the expense of ourself. So
Yeah.
how can we kind of find like that healthy medium in between, like showing up unapologetically, but still being considerate of others? And I would say like knowing that thin line of like not crossing that ego boundary with being unapologetic, right?
Yeah.
I know that was a lot, but
What's what's coming up for me with this beautiful question is loving people. We can love people and we can have so much love and compassion for them, but we can also love people from afar. And I know that's been hard for me in my journey. I
yeah,
always want to I always want to love people and be with them, and even if they weren't good to me or if they were gossiping about me or were mean to me, I was like, "Oh, I have to forgive them because Jeshua taught us to love all and be free and be happy and have compassion for everyone, but not to your own." That this has been very hard for me in my journey, actually, because I have to learn the hard way in loving people from afar and having boundaries.
yeah.
So for me, it's like you can show up in your light and in your truth, but you can also love people from afar.
Hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense or if
That
I'm
makes
trying
a
to,
lot of sense.
yeah, like loving people from afar, because
But
when somebody is so in their truth and in their conviction, even if it doesn't align with your truth and your conviction, you can still love them from afar.
yes, I love that. Yeah.
Because then if you try to argue with that person or try to get your point, that's just the ego running like crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I think it's standing in your truth, having that person stand in their truth, and like I said, loving from afar. I would say that's what's coming up for me.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Thanks.
You know what I thought about while you were saying that, which is basically the same thing, was how we mentioned earlier how people can have such a limited understanding. Some people, like in our family, and you may be in your truth in exploring your spirituality in a way that you see suitable for yourself, and they may demonize that or may not truly understand it completely, and still be limited in their own ways and their own thinking, that may come across as something that they wouldn't be interested in, right?
Yes.
And being in our truth and still showing up and being in our love and light is that we got to be unapologetic in that regardless, even if they understand it or not. And I've realized from my own personal experience with my family, um, I have an uncle who from very young was, very conscious and into Dr. Sebi and eating alkaline, didn't eat any meat, things like that. And in my Jamaican family, that was like, you don't eat no meat, you don't eat this, you don't eat that. And he would still show up, come and buy groceries, and make his own personal meals so that he was still, at the family functions, be able to enjoy and commune with us, but just in his own way. And that's him being unapologetic. He's like, I'm not going to conform for you or for the sake of my family. I'm going to still show up in my truth, and you can have some if you like as well. Come
Right.
try it,
Right.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
and you know what's so interesting? People don't want you to show up in your authenticity, but all the while they're like, I'm not giving up the pork, I'm not giving up the chicken, I'm not giving up the beef for y'all. It's just like, okay, you do you. I'm gonna do me over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
Right.
people have such a big issue. They think it's like mind blowing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They want you to respect their choices, but a lot of times they're so triggered that
Mhm.
then they have to turn around and it's like they have to try to belittleize you or chastise you or try to again take you down a notch. And I dealt with that, plenty of times being plant based. But luckily, I like to clown back, so we can both clown each other. We can go ahead and do it. It's no problem.
Yes.
Yes.
So, also for me, and a personal experience is my experience just with like locking my hair in this way and doing more of like a free form lock, versus
Wow.
the traditional groomed. And when I spoke about it, like, oh, I like Bob Marley's locks. I would like mine to be similar to that. And people would think that I was crazy or maybe lost my mind, or that they didn't really like the look of them, so they were kind of like projecting their views. And for me, it was like, when I get my locks, that's how it's gonna be. Sorry to tell you, but that's how it's gonna be. you know.
Yeah. And it looks so beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a way to show up and be true to your soul, because I knew that by taking this journey with my locks this way was going to bring me on a deeper spiritual journey, and it has. And I'm not saying in any way that I'm like stuck or attached to my locks. Like I would never cut them or do anything other with my hair. But for right now, this is my journey and I'm very pleased with it. So regardless of if it pleases others or not, I have to be unapologetic in that.
Yeah. It feels right to you. And again, it's beautiful. Like,
Right.
come on now. Open your eyes, y'all. What's there to say about this beauty? Okay. I love you too. So what I want to say really quick is like what's coming to me very strongly with like this perspective of people pleasing is we have to understand that like when we're being unapologetic, naturally the true human being, going back to our nature, we're going to have opposing views or different perspectives, but when we are really truly in a higher state of consciousness and our love and our light, we're seeking harmony, we're seeking peace, we're seeking respect for one another. And the way I feel about it is like, yeah, I'm going to please you in terms of like I'm always going to respect you, I'm always going to, and I also am going to be respected as well. And if I'm not going to be respected, then we're exiting stage left. Either I'm exiting stage left, you exit left, right, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. We're all going to respect each other, no matter what the opposing views are. Because at the end of the day, what matters is being loving, being in harmonious, and also realizing we're at, again, different levels of consciousness, different levels of understanding. And what I do also realize too is that certain truths can be a truth. However, it's still an unfolding in terms of like the infinite vast levels of consciousness and knowledge of the divine. So we may be, I don't want to say stuck on something. And I like what you mentioned, Indigo, about like your locks, like you're not attached to that. I'm learning not to be attached to any particular truth. I'm realizing that like at the end of the day, as long as I'm coming from a place of pure heartedness, seeking that love, seeking that harmony, seeking that understanding, seeking that respect, that's all that's required. And you also deserve that. And
Yes.
all of us deserve that in being unapologetic. And
Yeah.
so being unapologetic does not mean that you're being inconsiderate and careless and ruthless and not being a kind person. Like, come on now, wake up. you know,
Yes. Yes.
we're really, yeah, no, like check yourself. All of us have to check ourselves plenty of times, and everybody needs to check themselves. No, It doesn't mean that, and it's about my truth versus your truth. It's not about any of that. It's about finding harmony and seeking harmony. And if somebody does not have the capacity for that, then you do have the right to set that boundary in your truth and say, you know what, this is not aligned for me. End of story. And we're separating ways, because not everybody's aligned. And what I also want to say too, back to what you were saying, Kim, kind of going back to the Jesus, the way people see Jesus as he is this unconditional loving. But what I also realize is that we've been fooled to think that Yeshua was like, people think that being forgiving means I tolerate any and everything, right?
Yep.
And there's a saying that's in the Bible. It says, don't cast pearls among swine, right? That's in the Bible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what that means is like, if you were to break that down, it's like when you think of pearls amongst swine, it's like people who are on that very low frequency, very low vibration. I don't allow that in my space and in my energy, and you can feel it. You can feel it. We're all being honest. If you're working on yourself enough and intuitive enough, you can feel when something does not feel like love. And a lot of times it's just open your eyes. You can see it. You can see how people are treating you and how they're disrespecting you. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, seek that harmony, seek that respect, seek that kindness, not only for others, but for yourself.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So how does somebody know the difference from being unapologetic in their love and light from a place of love and authenticity, or being unapologetic from a place of ruthless or careless?
Energy, yeah, that's a good one.
When you kind of like talked about this, introduced it in your last response, but there's a huge difference in someone like showing up and being unapologetic in their love and light from a place of like love and authenticity, and then like being like, my opinion, this is mine, and it's kind of like steadfast on it and like ruthless, and like I could care less about what everybody else thinks because my truth is the only truth. Like sometimes people can express in that way, and it's just where they are, spiritually or on a certain level, where when you come from that place of like, my truth is the only truth and I don't care about what anyone else says. And if you don't accept it, then you're wrong, kind of thing. When you're unapologetic in your love and light, this is when you have gotten to a point where, like we said earlier, like you trust yourself and you trust your energy.
Yes.
And
Clap to that. Hold on, I gotta give it a quick clap to that.
Yes. You know what you know. Like, so regardless of all of those things that you could be, that could be projected onto you, you know who you are, you know the truth of your soul, you know that all is love, all is the divine, we are source, you know that. So you can show up and be unapologetic in that. And someone may try to convict you for something that you've done in your past, whatever. But what we do when we show up unapologetic in our love and light, we are able to apologize. We are able to admit when we're wrong. This is like full transparency in a way that it would be the process of learning to be more and more transparent, because there isn't anything to hide in your light, because the light, there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing hidden in the sun. You're going to see it all. So when we're in our love and light, everything is illuminated. Everything is brought to the surface. Everything is on the table to be reviewed. Everything is from a place of truth and authenticity. It's nothing to hide. There's no my truth is better than your truth. We are connected to the universal consciousness, and we know that all is source, regardless of where you are in your frequency or your level of consciousness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And truth is always unfolding. And that's what I've been getting a lot, is like through this human experience, it's unfolding more and more. That's why it's so important not to be attached to anything but love.
Right.
Right. Yes.
And how do you know when something's truth? How do you know? You have to determine that for yourself,
Yeah.
within yourself.
Yep.
No one can just like tell you, like somebody can say my truth is my truth and it doesn't resonate with you as truth.
I
That's
agree.
not true for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you have to experience it. That's one thing I've been learning a lot. Oh,
Yeah.
I apologize. I'm just like dipping in.
Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. You see, we're unapologetic, but we still apologize to be considerate. You see what we're talking about? We got some common
Yes.
sense over here.
Right. Talk
But
about truth, guys.
for one, Indigo, you said that. You said that, Goddess. It's just, again, being aware of self, being aware of ourselves and being honest and noticing how you feel. And one thing that I had pondered upon when we were, co-creating this topic and co-creating this podcast is that to notice, where is your truth, so-called truth, quotations, right? Because it could be a lie posing as truth. Is it coming from a place of like, and that's why awareness is so important. Is it coming from a place of like ego or dominance or distortion, bias, prejudice? Is there some duality in that truth, right? Or is it for the highest and greatest good of all? Is it for the highest and greatest good of all? And that's why it's so important to, before we start talking about this is my truth or this is your truth or whatever, because a lot of that is just like I said, a lot of that is just delusion. And even going back to when people say that, oh, I'm just being myself. Do you even know what yourself is?
Yep.
Do you even know what it means to be yourself?
Yep.
Because again, if you're not a person of love, and you're not coming from a place of love in the infinite ways that the divine expresses that through all of us, then are you really being yourself?
Yeah.
Are you really being yourself? So it's like, yeah, we have to be aware of self. That's what I'm gonna say. Always go back to that. Like, notice where your so-called truth is coming from. And always, always, always seek harmony.
Yes.
Seek harmony, seek balance, seek understanding and understanding with others. Remember, it's not about just us, it's about all of us. But honor what's coming up for you in your intuition, in your body, and then also honor when it's a projection or it's from the mind. And when I say honor that, meaning like recognize it and own up to it and apologize where necessary. Don't be scared to apologize either when we're
Yes.
wrong.
Right.
Hmm.
I know that's right, guys.
Oh,
Yes.
girl. Oh, girl.
I wanted to share a lesson in my life in regards to this. I have my beautiful brother, my older brother, who struggled with drug addiction all his life. And he was always like the type, like very hard-minded, this is helping me. I need to do these drugs. I need to do this. And I remember like me and my family always trying to help him change, and help him change throughout years and years and years.
Mhm.
Is like, but we weren't doing anything good, because somebody that wants to change and somebody that's so hardcore in their truth, like at that moment he felt that he needed to do these drugs in order to live, or in that where he was in his journey. And I had to take a real hard look at myself a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, and say, I need to take a step back from a place of love and light and pray for my brother and send love to my brother, because us saving him and bailing him out and buying him an apartment and doing this and doing that is not going to help him.
Yep.
And the moment that I took that step back, it became an example in my family. And now my brother is thriving because we let him be in his own truth, and we let him figure his own journey out without holding so much like control over him.
Yeah.
And in my journey, that this is like an example that came up, was like being in my love and my light in that moment, I feel like is what saved my brother.
Yeah.
Because it created a funnel of like by me doing that, it helped my parents say like, hey, we need to take a step back and help him figure it out. But it's
Yeah.
like, it can even be that, like, that drastic, where a family member is in, they think that that's all they need, drugs, 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 drugs. It's like, it was
Right.
becoming so unhealthy for me. So I took a step back and I said, this is all I can do and pray. And thank
Yeah.
God, thank God to the divine that he heard our prayers, because now he's thriving because he had to figure it out on his own.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, girl, that's a great point. I love that you brought that up, Kim, because that's something I had to learn the hard way and being in my love and light, so-called love and light, right? And that's the illusions, right? When we think that we can overstep and force somebody to change, right? That doesn't want to. They have to figure it out on their own. We can only hold space. We can help them if they want to be helped. But I had to learn that so many times the hard way, even though we have good intentions, right? We want this person, like, just get it, just wake up. Like, can't you see you're hurting yourself, you're hurting the family, you're hurting others? Like, come on now. It's like you just want to snatch them up and just shake them. And it's like, get it together. But that's not our place. And that is what liberated me so much. And it is sad that a lot of people are choosing suffering. A lot of people are choosing to self-destruct. But at the same time, that's their choice. And that's between them and God. And we would be ran crazy. We would lose ourselves if we try to force. It's not our place to try to make anybody do anything. It's not our place. And so that was something I had to learn in terms of the illusions, in a way, of being unapologetic. Like, yeah, I can be unapologetic in my truth, but it's not my place to make this person do anything. It is their journey. And if they want my help and they want my love, then they can come to me for that and they can make that be known. Otherwise, I'm just going to pray about it. Hold space.
And you know what I also would like to add is that we hold love and light. We hold the light for our brothers and sisters until they're able to hold it for themselves.
Yes.
And humanity we're all a part of the greater whole. And when we work on an energetic level, like I love what Kim said about like just praying for her brother and just sending love, and just kind of like being there on an energetic level.
Yes.
And just waiting for the divine to like intervene in the time that is most appropriate for him to make a shift and get the full transformation that he needs, because he's going through that journey for his own soul fulfillment to be able to play out and get to where he needs to be. And it's not for us to interfere or try to convince and push or project our feelings, our love, even if it's coming from love and light or it's a good place. We can hold it at a distance. We can hold that light at a distance. We can invoke it for our brothers and sisters, that their I am presence is leading them, and trust and know that their I am presence is leading them on this journey. And that because we are all entering into the new earth and we are in the fifth dimension and the new golden age, we know that everything is happening for us to all get there. That means majority of us are in the golden age for there to even be a golden age.
Exactly. And whether that happens in this lifetime or the next or another lifetime, either way, we're all returning back to source.
Yes.
And there's really no such thing as death. I mean, from a limited perspective, but we all return back to source, and people are going to have their chance to figure it out and to do that on their own. And so that is what's so beautiful. And there is also a difference between intention, like Indigo said, we may have the intentions from a pure place to help this person, but there's a difference from being intentional or conscious. Because when you're conscious, you start to realize like it's their journey and it's all up to you. It's not up to us to do it for them. It's up to us, like Indigo said, to hold that light, to pray, to hold that space, but it's still up to them. Yes. They get to choose. Mm-hmm. So it's just really powerful when you have that discernment with self.
Yes. So, with that being said, many of us have blind spots, right? Where we may have some things there we might not really see for ourselves. And the truth can sometimes feel like a double edged sword. Like it can hurt going in and coming out. How can we
Mhm.
allow ourselves to be open to others' perspectives while checking our ego and not
Mhm.
like putting up a defense, which will block us from being able to receive?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm,
Really good.
I love that. What's coming up for me is coming from a place of neutrality and coming from a place of compassion
Mm.
when somebody has, you know, a truth that there's in their truth and you're in your truth, and also like seeing if this is inspiring me. For me, it's like I'll always sit and I'll sit with self when someone's coming at me with like, you know, their truths, and I'll sit in stillness and I'll just say, how does this feel? How does this make me feel? Like how does it challenge me? Is it gonna make me better? Um and that's how I look at things now. Like I don't
Hello?
I don't really take things like defensive anymore, because if I know that that person is coming from love and has always respected me and honored me and cared for me in our journey,
Yep.
I always sit back and I just say now, you know what? Even if it feels challenging, let me put my ego aside, take a deep breath, and see how this can help me, or speak with honesty and say, I'm not ready to have this conversation. It's too challenging for me right now.
Yeah.
And just, you
That's
know, just
beautiful too. And then somebody who loves you, they'll respect that as well and say, I get it. Like we can visit this later, once you're able to like, kind of like simmer down the triggers, right?
yeah, simmer down the triggers. And that's what has helped me in my journey now, that I'm continuing to grow and just go deeper. It's like, what do I want to experience? What do I want to allow in my energy field? Am I ready to, being brutally honest with yourself, are you ready to take it to the next level? And it's okay if you're not ready.
Yep.
And
I
like I
agree.
said again, having that unwavering compassion, calling in that Kuan Yin to help you through it, and that ascended master of the highest level of love and light. That's what I've been doing lately, and that's what's been helping me.
Yeah, I love that.
Of
Okay, so do you mind if I go Indigo?
course, goddess. What the
Okay.
heck?
Okay, just want to make sure. Just want to make sure. Just to keep the energy feeling very fluid and flowy. So shadow work, shadow work, shadow work. Boom.
Period.
Go back and watch our previous video. I think it was the one we did, yeah, right before this. Yeah, shadow work. We touched on so many great points. If you want to get to a place where you can consciously communicate and express your truths without taking everything, being on the offense or being on the defensive, either way, it can be very extreme and it can be very imbalanced, and it can just really prevent that harmony that our soul and our hearts are really seeking. Please do the shadow work. Please self reflect. Please sit with yourself. That is so, so important. And again, you can do this in every single moment of every single day. As soon as the ego comes up, as soon as those triggers come up. And I will be clear too, not everything is a trigger. Some things are. Again, triggers are projections, or when we're, taking everything, we're being on the defense, we're taking everything personally, we're being reactive, but some things don't resonate. And even then, either way, am I able to still be in my truth without feeling kind of discombobulated, where I'm just all over the place and I feel like I'm about to implode from the inside out and like lose, now we're going down the downward spiral. For what? When all we have to do is learn to respond. And even if something doesn't resonate with us and something doesn't feel good with us, we can sit with it and again, always have that purity of heart and soul to seek harmony. I think that's just what's so important for human beings. They're lacking that harmony. It's always this versus that. And what I've been realizing too through my years of just, growing and learning to be my truest authentic self is that when I hear people talk, there's a lot of truth in what both people are saying or both sides are saying. But a lot of times when the ego's running amok, it becomes a versus battle. And it's not that. It's like, can we take what resonates from both sides and then, bring it together to find unity? And I think that again goes back to that self-awareness. So shadow work, shadow work, shadow work. The more you do that, the more you'll have the capacity to have a mature conversation and to recognize again the intentions, not only that you have, the intentions of the other person, because that will be able to help you navigate. I mean, there's just so many elements to it. It's intuitive intelligence, it's discernment, it's self-awareness to be able to navigate the conversation in a very healthy and mature and loving manner. So that's what I'll say.
Yes, I love that. I love what both of you said. Like, literally just summed it up very well for me. Like, being able to be so aware of yourself to say, it's not the time to have the conversation, to say, you know what, I maybe need a little moment to sit on this and reflect on it a little further. And to be able to do that in a way that is respectful and compassionate of the other person, because for the other person to even be able to reflect you and say, hey, I see this in you, and it may not be something, like I said, it could be a blind spot and you may have not noticed it for yourself. And you may need to go back and see how you've been showing up in that way. And like you said, when shadow work, that's a part of the shadow work, going in and allowing it to run through your veins and see how that feels and be able to be truthful with yourself. Like, well, I probably do this. Now, how do I do this? How has this been showing up? Okay, thank the person. Be grateful that they are even along with you on this journey, because they could have not said anything, And
exactly. Whew,
right.
Come on.
Yeah, and that could have been them not being truthful within themselves.
Hello? It's like, it's like it's a win-win for all if we could just get our egos out the way, right?
Yes.
That's true.
And when we become more familiar with how the ego shows up, how it feels when it, trying to come up and defend or not even just defend, but just like, it's like a defense mechanism, but like it may come up in subtle ways that you might not notice. The shadow work is what allows us to be able to realize our ego, our parts of ourselves, and where we're coming from, like even the wounded inner child and things like that. To be able to have a perspective and to put that aside, put the ego to the side and say, okay, I know that both of us want to come to a place of harmony. How can we do this? And being able to ask the correct questions in the moment if it's something that you don't understand. And, being able to ask the questions in a way that is loving and not from a place of a defensive place. Oh, so you say that I'm this, but more like, oh,
right.
See that
exactly.
How have I shown up in this way? What can I do to, do you have any suggestions on how I can navigate this or whatever, But I think that the dialogue, how we talk or converse in a harmonious way is also very important.
Bingo. Yes. It's so true. The demeanor, the tone of voice, we that's important. Like we don't want to be condescending or talking down to people, even if we're in our tree. That's why it's so that shadow work is key. That's the only way to get there, because otherwise your emotions are going to be running amok. And I love what Kim said and what you said. Yes, even if the emotions are running amok, please take the time to go sit with self. So
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't turn, we don't turn a mountain into a, a molehill into a mountain, so to
Yeah.
speak, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Thank you, love. I
Yes,
love
thank you
that.
both. Loved it.
Yes. Okay, so sometimes, speaking of perspectives, sometimes we can be attached, so attached to like a perspective we have or a truth, right? And just kind of elaborating and unfolding the conversation, how can we keep our hearts open, keep our minds open to be expansive and to not be so limited, even if we feel like our truth is the truth. Again, we're 10 toes down in it. We feeling like a statue with it. It's just like rock solid. It's almost like, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. It's my truth. Even if that, even if it really feels that way, right? And you feel like it's from love, how can you still just be open enough to hear other perspectives? Because sometimes, the ego can really, it can be tricky, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What I would say about that is that we have to recognize and understand that this is a journey. And the spiritual journey or whatever, even if you don't want to attach it to being a spiritual journey and you just say it's a journey, life is a journey. We grow as we experience life. And we may attach to a certain perspective based off of our experience. And like you said, that can keep us limited, that can keep us stuck in a certain just view. So now I don't do this anymore because I had this bad experience and this and that. Or I can't, you feel like you go through life and like some people would say, I don't like Leos because every Leo I met,
Oh
and then you
God.
start
Mhm. And it's like, do y'all know that there's other signs in the chart? Like,
I can't.
not all Leos are the same.
right. So those beliefs can limit us. It can literally block us from maybe having an expansive conversation with someone who we may have in another life or time before felt as if, oh, I can't have this conversation with them because they're this and this way. But as we expand our minds and we keep our hearts open and we connect the two, the heart and the mind together, and it's happening in a symbiosis way, we are able to realize that in order to truly ascend and even reach up to the crown, we have to detach.
Yeah.
So it's okay to be 10 tones down and grounded in our truth, but not be so unwavering or just not open to hearing other truths or other perspectives and being able to evolve in our truth.
Yes. Yes. The delusional unapologetic.
Right. Like you said
No.
when earlier, you was like, be able to evolve in our truth and expand in our truth because the truth is ever expanding.
Yeah.
And if we stay stuck to one particular perspective of the truth, then we will never expand in that truth and we will stay limited and stuck where we are. And as we grow and go through life, we want to be moving, we want to be fluid, we want to be expansive, we want to be ascending. So that's huge in the journey, is to keep an open mind and not be attached to anything under the sun, but to have a understanding, and a open
And an
mind,
overstanding. Yep.
and an
All of
overstanding
the above. Mhm.
heart to know that love is all encompassing and there's no need to stay attached to one thing because all of it is.
Yes, absolutely. I love that so much. So, so good.
You said it so perfectly, like just continuing to wanting to evolve and to keep learning in a healthy, discerning way. I feel like for me is what's coming up is just continuing to want to learn and evolve, like you said. I mean, that's all that's coming up. You said it perfectly fine.
Yeah, for sure. Yes. And then there's a saying that my dad always said, the man who knows everything knows nothing.
Mm.
So remembering again, humble yourself, find that humility, find that love and compassion. And yeah, there may be some things that you feel are very, very much true for you. And I would say again, being open minded and being open hearted, you're giving people an opportunity to express themselves and to see where they're coming from. And then you'll be able to discern, does this feel like love? Does this feel like harmony? Does this feel like unity? Or is there some ego here? And then express your truth, move accordingly. And then again, in some situations, because there's a lot of nuances to it, sometimes we got a head stage left. Sometimes we have to separate because it's too toxic, right? We're not seeing eye to eye, or again, it's lacking love. If you're being a love and light, you will know, and you're being a purity, you will know what is not love and what is not light.
Yes.
And so to me, that is like the truth. And give people a chance, give people opportunity to show themselves. It's kind of like what we said in another podcast is that, never trust people that don't trust people. Give people will show you who they are. Experiences in life will show you what it is. And then from there, you'll be able to discern what do I need to do? Do I need to further engage in this, or do I need to separate from this, or whatever it is, right? So yeah, just staying open-minded, staying open-hearted, and then just assessing like, okay, is this, and also is this person seeking harmony as well? You have to come back to that.
Right.
And remember that if you're giving you respect and you're giving love, you deserve that as well.
100%.
Always, always, always. End of story.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. So, how do you goddesses authentically express your love and light unapologetically in a harmonious way?
Ooh, one.
Well, like we said previously, it takes a lot of shadow work. And you have to be able to check yourself and check yourself and check yourself some more. And yes, because you want to be able to be a bad bee, be bold, be audacious, be devoted. And when you anchor in your truth, when it really is on a cellular level, like, just the universal truths, like once you have that in you and etched in you, you are like a tree that is rooted.
Yeah.
And the leaves fall off of the tree every season. It goes through its phases, but the tree is still rooted and anchored. So you have to know what you are anchored in, what you believe in, what you know to be your truth, the fundamental, the foundational truth, and then be able to allow the leaves to fall as they may.
Yes.
Allow yourself to blossom and redefine yourself as you continue to go through the motions. But like we said earlier, Wynn said it so greatly, stand for something or fall for anything. You don't want to be this tree that's going to be falling over, roots all over the place. No, you have to have your foundational truth. And then once you have that, you're able to anchor and grow out from there and expand and grow and dissolve and continuously letting go and releasing and anchoring and re-establishing ourselves. So for me, that's usually what it is. Like once I feel like I am anchored in my understanding of the truth, wherever that is at that moment, I'm able to show up and be authentic and unapologetic in that, but still be open and honest and forever changing and flowing, and that be the consensus, And when I interact with others, because there's so much beauty in interacting with others, just even our your sisterhood here, or if you have a partner, or even a stranger can ignite and initiate something within you that if you're not open and harmonious, you may come with your prejudice. You may come with your beliefs that is not going to allow you to truly be unapologetic and authentic in your love and life. Not in life. No.
I love that. I love that you said that. Like, especially going out into like the 3D, like there's gonna be things that come up, like and not being like showing up in your love and light, um, and not being triggered, especially by going out in the world. Like if someone runs you off or someone cusses you out, like just like okay, like sending them love, not letting people take like not letting someone disturb your love and light is like very key, because I've seen some examples in my life where like someone's having a bad day and I'm out in, Sprouts or something, and they're trying to project their fear and their hate out, and like no, I'm going to stand in my truth and in my light. Or someone's trying to be argumentative, no, I'm going to stand in my truth and my light, and I'm going to decide to leave and not have this conversation. I know I do that with my neighbor all the time. She's always wanting to find drama and this and that. And I'm like, I'm going to be in my peace. Thank you so much for caring. We'll talk another day. So like not letting people and distractions move you from being in your love and your light, and being very intentional with that, I would say, because when we go out in the world, we're like light bulbs that are lit up. There's going to be distractions that come towards us. So just being careful with where we're going, what we're doing, and what we're allowing in our space. And when you said check yourself, something came up like there's a song like check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah. Old school hip hop song. They wasn't lying.
They were not lying. So I was like, wreck yourself.
Yes.
Because pride comes before the downfall.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great point. Staying in your love and light. And I will say that for me, it's like it's going back to what we talked about earlier. You have to really know who you are and what you stand for. And for me, I stand for peace, love, happiness, and abundance and health for all. That's what I know to be true for me in my heart, and what I truly want for everyone, for all of humanity. I want everyone on this planet to be connected to their higher selves, connected to their soul, to have that peace within and without. I just want that harmony. I mean, that's what the golden age is all about and beyond. And for me, anything that is not that, I'm not for it. And I can still, and I'm very clear on that. And I'm not going to be passive about it either. But neither do I have to be aggressive or to be forceful or to be trying to push my way on other people. I just have to stand firm in what I know to be true for myself. Because again, what I know is that what I want for you, I want for myself. What I want for myself, I want for you. Yes. So I know I'm coming from love. And if I know that, then why on earth am I dimming my light and why am I holding myself back? Because to me, that's the harmony. But again, back to what Indigo said, it's also the delivery. It's how you say things, the way you say things, the way you handle things. And I love what Kim said. A lot of times, sometimes you have to discern. Not everything is black or white. Sometimes there are going to be moments where you are not going to go back and forth with people. It's just like sending you love. This is not my energy to carry. And then there are times where you are going to have to speak up. Yes. And there are going to be times where you are going to say, no, this is not acceptable. Because also what I'm realizing too, being in a passive society where we just sit back and watch horrible things being done to each other. It's kind of like what's coming to me as an example of like people fighting and then people bring out their phones rather than intervening and stopping the fight, right? Mm-hmm. Or finding some way to protect people. We'll have to be discerning again in what we how our truth, how our authenticity is supposed to show up. But remember, it's for the highest and greatest good of all. So for me, it's about knowing who I am and what I stand for. And yeah, to me, that's where the harmony comes from. And then just always checking in with self. Like you said, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Check in with self to make sure that, I'm always doing my best, I should say, to seek that harmony and to seek that, that understanding for between me and whoever or whatever. So that's what I'll
Yes.
say.
Mhm. Well said, goddesses. Yes. So, with that being said, are there any like books, mentors, teachers, any lessons, courses, anything that has inspired you to like really embrace this unapologetic energy?
For me, I know a book that really helped me a lot in my spiritual journey was The Four Agreements. Like, really learning who I am and that I am love, and seeing like, yeah, those shadows, because it's like in the book it's like showing you about the shadows in society and also the way that you're programmed. So for me, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz really like opened me up to this concept of like knowing who you are and being in your love and light. And then again, like going to my dear sister Wynn's retreat and learning the beautiful practices that she created has also helped me a lot. And the shadow work has helped me just go deeper into my spiritual journey. And there's a lot of, I would say there's a lot of, lessons and books that people can read. I would say just go and look and see what feels right in your heart and something that really aligns with you. But I feel like the most important thing is sitting with self. And since I started meditating a lot this year, like more than I have ever meditated, and actually made it a devotion and a daily practice with the 8 daily essentials that my beautiful sister Wynn created. And William Michael Forbes, I've been taking his meditations as well. And that has helped me go within to find the answers within. And that has just unfolded beautifully, me connecting directly with source. But I wouldn't say, the books and the other ascended, teachers and the masters and the lessons helped me a lot. But now in my journey, I'm just learning to go more within and find the answers directly connecting to source.
I know that's right. Come on now. Yes, goddess. So for me, what helped me be more authentic in um, just, being in my love and light and be unapologetic is in terms of like outside influences. I have studied many different people or different teachers or whatever you want to call it, gurus, spiritual leaders, like the people that I would see them being so articulate and so in their transmission of whatever was coming up for them in their knowledge, in their intellect, and to see them just be so present in to express themselves so authentically and so courageously and so confidently. I've always admired people like that who had that confidence, who had that courageous energy, who it's like you couldn't get nothing over them, right? In a way. But at the same time, they were still very professional, they could I don't want to say debate people, but it's in a way they could have those tough conversations and it wouldn't turn into, like I said, a war or some type of argument. So I always looked at people like that and you know what you see in other people and what you admire in other people is also within you, right? And so when you see that within other people, at some point you got to refine that energy within yourself. You got to work on yourself and see how you can take that heart-based action and get out of your comfort zone and to be able to, because that's the only way you're really going to, because to be unapologetic in a way is like you're facing your fear.
Mhm.
So
Mm.
you have to get out of your comfort zone in some way. And, you know what, what you see in other people and what you admire in other people is also within you, right? And so when you see that within other people, at some point you got to refine that energy within yourself. You got to work on yourself and see how you can take that heart-based action and get out of your comfort zone and And again, if you know that this is in alignment with your highest and greatest purpose, is this something that your heart is into, that your soul is wanting to express, that you're passionate about? Practice how to speak, educate yourself, sit with yourself, like Kim said. All these different ways of just working on yourself. And remember, whatever you see in others that you admire is also within you. A lot of times it lies dormant and it just needs to be awakened. And so just consistently finding ways to get out of your comfort zone. And again, even in small ways, it doesn't have to be grandiose. It can be very, very small. And eventually you're building up that confidence level, you're building up that courageousness, and to the point where it just feels, it's like, I'm me. And then you're lit up. It's like I can finally be me, who I'm really meant to be. And that's really exciting. So I would say, remember, whoever you look up to is, I don't want to say look up to, because I actually don't agree with looking up to anybody, but whoever you admire, remember it's in you, and then just practice and refine yourself, and yeah, get out of your comfort zone.
Love this question so much, and both of your responses. For me, I would first like to acknowledge every experience that I have experienced upon my journey this lifetime and previously, because that is what got me here.
Right.
To show up in this unapologetic energy, I have to thank every experience that has got me here, because the accumulation of all of that, the accumulation of every win, every loss, every experience, every hurt, every sadness, every joyful feeling, everything, every interaction and connection with someone else, regardless of if in the moment I seen it as good or bad, it allowed me to get to where I am. It strengthened me.
So experience has been your best teacher.
Best teacher, number one, experience, absolutely. And once I acknowledge that, then I can go in and talk about the other things. So like Kim said, the Four Agreement, love that book, was so great. But the Mastery of Love took it to the next level for me.
I haven't read that one.
Oh, Kim, I'll send it to you.
I'm
trying to see if I have it. I'm like, I don't.
The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz, the same author of the Four Agreements. Amazing book. Also, The Alchemist.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
When I realized that I was able to shift the energy, and being in your love and light is having the capacity and ability to see love in everything. And that can be challenging in some challenging moments. So that book was really great for me as well, along with, just many people along the way, my current relationship, my previous relationship, they all helped in different ways. My mother, I have to thank her for initiating the idea of thinking outside of the box and exploring different realities. So yeah, those things have really, really helped me. But one of the best things, like Kim said, is to go within, and you're your own teacher. You're the greatest teacher. Everything that is in and inspires you of anyone else is already within you. And there's tools and resources to educate ourselves, like you said, educate ourselves, enhance our skills, grow in them, and activate them within ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. I love that you mentioned experience, because that's a big one for a lot of us as well. It's like you go through so many tumultuous experiences in life, and things that are unfavorable are things that trigger something in you to speak up and to be in your truth and to be in your love and your light. It's almost like it builds that momentum in order for it to come up, so that it can be expressed, meaning your true self, it meaning your love and light. Because experience in this level of density and duality, You're going to have to be in your love and light if you want to thrive. You're going to
Yeah.
have to. If you want to thrive and you want to be your best self, and you also want to be sane in a saneless world, you will eventually come to the crossroads where, yeah, I am going to have to show up in a way that's truly authentic to me. So that way I'm not losing myself and I'm not
Yeah.
sick. You know,
Yes.
'cause one thing I realized when we go through a life and we're pretending and we're saving face, you lose yourself. That manifests as disease in the body, and that manifests as mental health disorders, and you name it, all of the above. So it's just so important. Thank you for that, ladies. So showing up in our love and light, it requires us to have an enhanced vision for the greatest, higher divine plan for all. So how can we show up in that love and light and remember that higher and greater divine plan for all, and not be inhibited by the ways of the world, again, the status quo, the thoughts of the world, that group think? How can we still stand out and be authentic and remind ourselves that it's not just about me, it's for the greatest and highest good of all, without conforming? That's the word that's coming through. Conforming to how society wants us to be.
Yes, great.
I love this question. I would say for me in my journey, what I'm trying to embody now is being a walking meditation of love. Like, yeah,
Your
being
little cute face, I just have to say, you're just cutest on the planet. Cutest. So
I'm just so excited because meditation just helps you disconnect and connect directly to source. And if we're able to practice meditation long enough, meditation becomes just like you become a walking meditation. And I feel like you are connected to source whenever, 24 hours a day. If you're able to get to that point, then you're able to live in harmony, in peace, and in alignment. And I would say that is what I'm trying to embody now in my life, is just being that walking peace, that walking harmony, because there are going to be triggers out there in the world. I mean, I work a job. I have to go here and there, and there's triggers that I come across, but I always take a step back and I look at the greater picture of everything, the grander vision, and I just say, like, none of this is worth my peace anymore. My peace is my priority. And if I can learn and embody more of being that walking love meditation from my heart, I would say that is what I would recommend. If gods and goddesses that are watching this, if you can just practice that daily meditation and make it a living transmission, I would say that will help so much. So
And I do want to say quickly, if you're triggered by the words God or goddesses, just look at it like this. You're a woman or a man of God. That is it. Divine.
yes.
You're a woman or a man of the divine. You're a woman or a man of love. So a lot of times people, they get a little triggered when, you call yourself a god or goddess. We're not saying we're the god of the earth or the goddess of the earth. It's no, you're a mini god of love and light. So I just want to expand on that as well. But I love that, Kim.
Thank you, loves. Yeah, that's what I'm trying my best to embody now, because it's yeah. I'm trying to be in that 5D as much as I can.
Okay, girl. I love what you said, because it really is that. It's like being present with self, present with life. Like, that is everything. We live so much in our minds and in our heads, and that a lot of times our ego can talk us out of being ourselves. Actually, our ego can talk us out of being authentic and true, because again, the ego, you may think it's protecting you, but actually it's not really protecting you. It's actually putting you in more harm's way, because again, comfort zones are not comfortable to the soul. And so comfort zone, meaning like a comfort zone big time for the collective in terms of this question, is that we are scared to stand in what we know is true for the highest and greatest good of all, which we actually talked a lot about in our podcast about dismantling the false matrix and bringing in the divine matrix. A lot of that was like exposing what's not for the highest and greatest good of all and what is for the highest and greatest good of all. And I feel like the more that we can just be honest, radically honest about, like, no, this is not love. You know, there's so many things that's going on in the world today that are, again, like Kim said plenty of times, it's in your face. It's like, how could you deny that this is out of alignment for the highest and greatest good of all? Like, yeah, it's just so much going on in the world that's just so dense that I cannot stand for and I will not stand for at
Heck,
all.
heck no.
Yes, exactly. And so being present with yourself and present with what's coming up in your body and being present with what's coming up in your intuition, and like Kim said, being present with the divine, connecting to source, that is going to be your guidance system. That is your compass. Your heart is your compass. That's where that compassion comes in. And let's be clear, compassion and empathy, that does not, in being unconditionally loving, that does not mean you accept BS in your life. Absolutely not. We're moving out of that. We don't accept any of that. We don't have to. And when we talk about even Master Yeshua, what was coming to me very clear, and again, that trope in terms of unconditional love, meaning the illusions and misunderstandings of what people think that is, let's not forget Master Yeshua was also a real bad bee. He was a warrior. He knew what he was standing. That's why they killed him, because he was standing up for his truth. He was saying what was aligned. Him having unconditional love had nothing to do with him not being authentic and true and courageous in what he was expressing and what he was delivering in the codes that he was setting at that time that left this legacy and is still unfolding. So yeah, um, we have to be present with self. We have to be honest with ourselves and what we stand for. And again, going back to that shadow work, I will say that going back to that shadow work, I think that's where it starts in terms of that awareness, because once you do that, then you will no longer conform to society. You won't want to, and you will do whatever it takes in terms of like to be your truest, highest, authentic, loving self.
Yes.
I love that, goddess. And I just wanted to add, if I can,
Of course.
that is how we change the world.
Yes.
That is how, if you want to help change the world, people are out protesting, getting hurt. People are out spending their time, their energy. People can do whatever they want, and that, no judgment. But if you really want to change the world, sit and pray and work on yourself. That will help change the world. Be a person of love and light. Do the shadow work and remain focused to your mission and your legacy of love. That will help change the world.
Yes. And I just want to say this one thing. Are you finished with that, love?
Yes, got it.
Okay, yes. I want to say this really quick before we segue into Indigo, is that I love that you mentioned that it starts with you, because a lot of times we're trying to change the world, or we're caught up in world issues, and I get it. We should be concerned. We should care. But at the same time, it's hypocritical because you're not taking care of your health. You're not a good friend. You're not a good family member. You don't even know how to be a good coworker or whatever. You don't, it's like, how are you talking about a war or whatever is going on outside, but you're at war with yourself every single day? It starts with us. We have to be true. If you do not know how to be a good friend and a lover to yourself first, and then of course to your immediate, it start what they say, charity starts at home, right? If you don't even know how to be a good family member, a good friend, start there. We're skipping steps. Let's start there, because that's spiritually bypassing. We're not being honest with ourselves. So yes, and that's how we will not conform, because again, it's that honesty, that radical honesty with self. And then it will all make sense. Everything falls in place from you starting with yourself as the foundation.
Yes, love that. And I just want to, the quote that came through for me when you both said that was, be the change that you want to see. And it requires us to do the work for ourselves first.
I love that we're all saying the same thing in different ways.
Yeah. That's the same thing as saying, like, hold your life for yourself and humanity and your brothers and sisters until they're able to hold it for themselves. Because there's nothing that we can do by just going out and trying to do the same thing, expecting a different result.
Oh, come on now, Indigo.
There's no change that's going to happen that way. So we have to shift. We have to do something different. And how do we do that? We do the shadow work. How do we do that? We become aware. We educate ourselves. And like you said, when that podcast about the Matrix, so like filled, packed, stuffed with so much information, like you probably have to watch it 2, 3, 4 times because it is so packed.
I know I have.
Yes. Remember, these podcasts are transmissions. They're light streams that are coming through. So you may need to watch it several times in order to really fully understand what it is that's coming forth. And I love this question because honestly, for me personally, the influences of the world don't have influence on me. I don't have any desire, wants, anything from the outside world. What I love right now is that I'm able to participate in the divine plan by being the mechanism in which source can come through me and transmit such light streams. And I just got off vacation, and that was like the best vacation I ever had in my life. Yes, because honestly, the whole thing was about service. We had in our mind before going, knowing that it was going to be some type of Atlantean thing. We're going to the Atlantic, not sure how exactly because I didn't want to attach to any outcomes or any particular thing, but we showed up, we were ready, we was devoted, we stepped into the moments as each moment came up, and we were able to transmute, cut them loose, and set them free. And the way that the divine worked, and just from going out to the peninsula that was at the point, it was like a point in the Atlantic. That's like being like right in the middle, surrounded by water. We went out to the furthest point of the island, of the country, to connect directly with the Atlantic. And I got into it even in the midst of a storm that was taking place. I got into the water on my first day, and I got on the solstice, the summer solstice, and I got like bit by like jellyfish 3 times before I got out. But I was like, I'm gonna get in, I'm gonna do it. I washed, I got in there, and the jellyfish did, sting me and things, and but I didn't let that stop me. I went even further into the invocations, even further into anchoring the light, even further into grounding the energy and setting the energy of Atlantis that had been submerged into the Atlantic Ocean, connecting with that, seeing my affiliation with that, and remembering who I am and past lives and who I am now, and how I can make a change with my energy because I am a mechanism of the divine, and the divine works through me. So being out there blasting my light, blasting it, cutting them loose and setting them free, ended up in a prison from where slaves were. I was still in that prison cell, the original prison cell, which they held, slaves captive and people who were imprisoned, calling in the light in that way as well, calling in the violet flame to cut us loose and set us free, because that's all a part of the journey that we've come on to get to where we are now. And I mean, we as humanity, because we're all one. Best vacation I had in my life. But to answer the question, how do you show up unapologetically in your love and light when the world has all those influences? I am conscious in my intentions of raising the planet. So I'm going to do that through me wherever it is that I am.
It's beautiful.
Love that.
Yes. Again, being a beacon, a pillar of light, a pillar of love. That's what we all really are. Beyond the names, beyond the skin tones, beyond all the different, illusions of self, we're love and light. And as you said, and this is a different way to say it, we're in the world, but don't be of the world. We're in the world, but we're not of it. We're in it. You don't have to be of this world. We're creating a new world. Be of the new world that you want to create. And the world lies inside of us. And so that's what it comes down to is like, you can see this world that we live in. This is nothing I want to be a part of. Nothing.
Heck no.
I want to be a part of none of this. And I mean that. It's not in terms of separating or considering thinking I'm better. Actually, I am better. Actually, I am better than all of this. I am. I will say. And you're better than all of it too.
Yes, we are.
But when I say better, not an egoic better. Yeah, we are better than this. And it's time now where we let go of the nobody's perfect or not judging. Let all that, though. I'm realizing those are big programs to keep us in a state of excuses and not being honest with ourselves. It's not a judgment to say that, when something is not aligned, it's not aligned. It's not a judgment to say something is not of love. If you're not condescending and you're not talking down on anything or anybody, then it's not judgment. And we don't have to talk about nobody being perfect anymore. Okay, we know that. Let's rise to the higher. It's time to show up in our excellence. It's time to be real.
Yes.
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 This has been just such an enlightening, beautiful transmission. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I bow to your goddesses.
Yes.
You got it.
Thank you.
So ending with our last question, what are 2 to 3 practical ways that we can give to our audience to help them embody being unapologetic in their love and in their light?
Yes. I'll go last.
Yeah, so we kind of mentioned what has worked for us as far as, what has allowed us to embody being unapologetic in our love and light. But one thing that I can say that is super important is to know thyself. And when we know thyself, we know that we are the divine, we are source, we are God energy. And everything else it comes after, So once we're anchored in that truth, knowing that we are God and that we can rise above any of our situations, any of our experiences, any of those things that we may hold on to or miscreate that is not love and light, we are even more inclined to let it go. So a practical tip is to really remember who you are so that you can dissolve all the things that are not you. And what other way to recognize what's not us is than to just go within, than to experience and realize what the truth really is, learning from our experiences to be able to discern, to be able to make choices that are in alignment with the divine plan and not just our personal egoic plans in life.
Yes.
Beautiful.
I love
Excellent. Excellent. Excellent.
Well, just like you said, my beautiful sister, and try your best to embody your divinity, because your divinity is everything. Meditation, once you're able to quiet the mind and go deep within self and connect source with yourself, it like connect directly to source, it's just life changing. That joy and that pure bliss when you connect to source. And I would say the third one is prayer, praying and being in ceremony with yourself, making your life a living ceremony is what I am trying to embody my best that I can, and is what I would recommend is make your life a living ceremony of love each and every single day.
Yes. Yes. Love that. Love that. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Become a living prayer. You know, you literally become the prayer yourself, a walking, living, breathing miracle yourself by, doing everything these goddesses said, Indigo said, and Kim, going within, being true to yourself. I love all of that. What I will say is that it's important to get crystal clear in knowing who you are, but going deeper into that, like, what does that even mean? Who you are, what do you stand for? What is important to you? What is your value system? What do you value? What is important? What do you want to experience out of life? And I would say journal, write it down, get clear, meditate on it. Like these goddesses said, go within on that. It's so important to get crystal clear on who you are and what you stand for. What is important to you? What is your value system? To me, that is the foundation of your life in terms of what do you value. And remember, when it's truly from love and light, it's for the highest and greatest good of all. I'm not talking about valuing clothes or valuing getting a Mercedes Benz or valuing going to the BET Awards. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about real life value system, real life valuing in terms of like what matters to your soul, what matters to your heart, and getting very, very crystal clear on that. Like I said, journaling, meditation, all of that is great. Another way, I actually mentioned it in this podcast, is again, getting out of your comfort zone. I think that is so key to being unapologetic in your love and light. We are not going to go like exactly what Indigo said earlier. You can't do things the same way and expect a different result. The only way that you're going to grow and evolve is through change and to do something different and to face our fears. So, any opportunity you have, again, getting clear on your fears in terms of like what's prohibiting you from truly expressing yourself, truly going after your desires, truly speaking up, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is that you know on a soul level that you know you need to do, get clear about that. So, getting out of the comfort zone, facing your fears, and being crystal clear about what your value system is. And then the last one is I will say just show up. Just show up. Show up authentically. And again, it's one way to say authentically, but because again, what we may think is authentic, it may not really be. But what I will say is by you showing up, it's again, it's like a trial and error. It's a testing. You'll be able to, through your interactions, through being able to see how you express yourself, you'll be able to see and to discern and to be able to tweak and to shift and to redirect anything that is not love and light within yourself. So it's, yeah, you have to assess yourself. And the best way to assess yourself is to put it to the test. Put yourself out there in whatever way that means. Putting yourself out there doesn't necessarily mean like being seen on social media or being seen on YouTube, unless that's what you want to do. Putting yourself out there may simply be mean that I need to have a conversation with this person. Putting yourself out there may mean like, you know what, I'm going to now create this business that I've been wanting to create. It's so many ways you'll be able to discern what it is for you. So yeah, put yourself out there, show up, And yeah, just see what unfolds from all of that. See what unfolds and see how you evolve from that, because that's the only way you will evolve, is to, test the waters, so to speak. So yeah, those are my 3 tips.
Love that. Love it. Yes.
Love you. Thank you guys.
You both. Thank you
wonderful.
For your wisdom, for your sincerity of heart, for your love, for your sharing, for your transmissions, for your light. I thank you for holding this space with me to express these short but still very long transmissions of light in regards to being unapologetic in our love and light. And I just want to thank the audience, especially if you've made it to the end here. Please go ahead and just connect with yourself and give yourself the recognition that you deserve, because you are doing the work. You are putting forth the effort to evolve, to ascend, to grow, to be more true to yourself. And I acknowledge you, from my heart to yours, from our hearts to yours. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. We love you. Please like, share, and subscribe. And do not be afraid. Be unapologetic about leaving a comment in the section. Okay?
Yes.
Anything that's on your mind, your heart.
Yes, drop some honeybees down below if you are a true bad bee. And don't forget to add your insight. How have you been showing up unapologetically? Or when has there been a time where you didn't show up unapologetically, and how did you get through it? Please share it in the section.
And how you're going to show up unapologetically moving forward.
Yes.
That's what I would like to see. What did you learn? Like, how are you called to show up unapologetically now? Like, truly. And like, from your love and light. Keyword, from your love and light. Not from a place of arrogance, not from a place of rudeness, inconsideration, selfishness, all that egoic fear stuff. From your love and your light, because that's the true unapologetic energy. That's divinely unapologetic. Yes. Thank you so much. Any last words? I guess the energy is speaking for itself, right? Right. Thank you all for tuning in. And again, please like, share, and subscribe. We are creating that golden age together. But we send you all so much love. Again, peace, love, happiness, and abundance for all. And stay tuned for our next podcast. And in the meantime, namaste.
Namaste.
Yes.
Welcome to the Golden Age Goddess Podcast. We stand for peace, love, happiness, and abundance for all. Listen to your heart and soul's call, and we will encourage you to be bold, audacious, and devoted. Kim, Indigo, and Wind, helping you win by healing deep within. Only way to the Golden Age. Like, share, and subscribe today.